It's another edition of Riding Home. Dean Legge, Dylan Weber, Matt DeBerry. We are leaving Sanford Stadium and heading home. It is 39 degrees outside. Georgia with a 27-0 win. Good Lord. It's a zoo out here after these games. I can't see.
I would say more like a wasteland.
Wasteland, there you go.
And you have the few stragglers and survivors of the night. This woman looks like she's hugging a wall. Now she's just scratching at something. Yeah.
Concerned about these buses. I thought this win was the way it would be. Ugly. I can't figure this team out completely.
I mean, they are what they are. They're a very strong defensive team. They're not explosive on offense. They had a couple explosive plays today, but, I mean, Kirby wants to do what he wants to do, and that's run the football, ground and pound, tire teams out, and they did that a little bit today. But, everyone wants points, and I think the fan base wants more points, and with the amount of talent they have on offense, yeah, they probably should be scoring more points. But when you beat an SEC Eastern opponent by 27 points, you shut them out, you cover, I mean, it's a solid win, even though they only put up 27 points.
I mean, you look at the LSU-Alabama game, I think people just almost expect Georgia's offense to kind of be like that. They want a shit ton of yards, and what they end today with total offense 339 yards on 67 plays. I mean, that's solid.
They do have to do a better job of punching in the end zone once they get inside the red zone. Settle for a lot of field goals today, and that's not going to work when they eventually play LSU if they get that far. Obviously, Auburn next week. They're going to have to score touchdowns next week.
You need to capitalize on those opportunities. I mean, 7 points is a way bigger deal than 3 points. And how many times did they get down there and end up just having to kick a field goal? I can't remember, but something crazy.
Rodrigo had 3 field goals, missed 1. There were plenty of opportunities, but even when Richard LeCounte took it 73 yards on the interception, I don't think they came away with points. I think that might have led to a field goal, but those are opportunities where you really need to get it in the end zone. It didn't matter today because they got the shutout, but overall, it's a solid win, but the offense does need to play a little better and put more points up on the board.
Hell, Rod had 4 field goals.
4 field goals, yeah.
4 field goals.
I mean, those are a lot of field goal attempts, and if you want to beat Auburn and beat LSU, you're going to have to score touchdowns.
You've been quiet over there.
Yeah, I just decided to listen for a while because I talk too much, I think, generally speaking. But
what are you still trying to figure out about the team? That's what you said a moment ago.
I think my experience in tennis and sometimes in basketball changes my perspective on certain things. Georgia doesn't have to play the way that LSU and Auburn and Clemson and Ohio State play.
They're not built that way.
And I think there's as much envy as should be cast at what LSU and Ed Orgeron have done offensively. You can't tell me the whole country doesn't want Georgia's defense. I think it's, they're...
Is there another defense playing better in the country right now?
I keep saying Clemson, but I'm going off of what I saw in September.
Clemson's really good. Auburn's really good defensively.
Yes.
I'd put Georgia ahead of them right now.
We're talking 3 shutouts.
Who was the third?
Kentucky,
Arkansas
State.
Yeah.
And now
it's hard to stop people from scoring, period. It doesn't matter who. Missouri should have scored at the end there.
They could have had a field goal.
They should have scored at the end. They didn't. But
the defense didn't back down. They were not letting them in the end zone.
I just want to say, and now I'm cutting you off doing my normal thing. I just want to say I like where Georgia's at coming into this thing. They got to get past Auburn. I expect them to. But the line for that LSU Georgia game is 4. That's not a lot.
No,
that's close.
And that's not a coin flip game. LSU should win it. But
Georgia's defense is better than LSU's defense.
Oh, well, there's no question about that. The issue is, can you score on LSU's defense? Yeah. Apparently everybody can. So
Vanderbilt had what, 35?
Vanderbilt?
Yeah, on LSU.
Okay, so on LSU, Vanderbilt's offense scored 31 points.
31, yeah.
Vanderbilt wound up with 38.
They've got a lot of individual talented players, but collectively they aren't playing that.
They're going to have a hard time slowing Georgia down. This is the matchup you want if you're Georgia. This is about Georgia. We appreciate everybody listening and watching. But, when you watch Alabama and LSU today, Alabama was just not disciplined. They made mistakes. LSU can score. They're going to have a hard time scoring 40 against Georgia. They may score 28 to 35, but that might be all Georgia needs to do to slow them down.
But I mean, Georgia can
score on them.
But people are going to say Georgia's offense isn't explosive enough, isn't making enough big plays. But they can put up 35 on that LSU defense.
Yes, I like where they're at. In terms of talking about figuring it out, Cager makes a big difference.
For sure.
He definitely does. You can tell that Georgia came out of this game essentially clean on injuries is a big deal. Tay Crowder looks like he's shot out of a rifle. What is the deal with that guy?
Monty Rice played really well too, but those linebackers had a hell of a game today.
I mean, Tay Crowder, everybody...
Those instincts have gotten there. He's getting to the ball. He knows exactly where it's going.
Am I going left here or am I whipping around?
I say whipping around.
Whip around. So... I just want to say, it's I don't know Kirby. He's not my friend. A lot of people,
you don't think so?
Huh?
You don't think he's your friend?
He's definitely not anybody in this car's friend. I don't know how many friends Kirby has, but it's not. The three of us were not his enemy.
He liked my tweet last night.
I saw that, man. Hey,
you're so important.
I know,
oh my God.
Stackhouse, rushing touchdown.
That was impressive.
Gets a like.
That was
Kirby
impressive.
Smart. He was good. We'll talk about that later.
Here's my thing, Matt, on Kirby Smart and Dylan too. I'm going to put this out here. If Dan Mullen, I think Dan Mullen is a quality coach. I don't know if he's a great coach. I think he's a good coach. But, you just look around at this defense. J.R. Reed was an afterthought. Monty Rice, I thought Monty Rice was good. J.R. Reed was an afterthought for a lot of college programs. Tay Crowder was a 3-star kid. There's someone else I'm missing out on my list here. Stokes. Jordan Davis for sure.
Devonta Wyatt was not.
Wyatt was good. I'll pass the Kirby test on that deal. I saw him live. I thought he was good. The guy I think that's not performing the way that I thought he would, and we don't know yet what his future will be like, is Amir. But that's another situation for another time.
But that's 2 ACLs too.
It is.
Yeah.
But the other thing is too for me with the Kirby is you gotta watch Kirby on game day or whatever. Okay, yeah, but the development, Ben Cleveland was lost at the beginning of his freshman. He was lost. And he has become a very good player for Georgia. But it's Tay Crowder. It's guys like that who have got a throat hold of their position. They're not giving it up to Nakobe Dean, who's a 5-star player.
Who did play.
He did play a lot.
And that's what I noticed from up in the press box. They played a lot of those 2019 freshmen. Nolan Smith, Trayvon Walker played a lot.
Tyreek Stevenson
was out there.
Yep.
Tyreek Stevenson made some plays.
Devod Wilson would have been out there too. Guys like Aziz and Devod. Kirby talked about it after in the press box, at the press conference, talking about, hey, those guys really grew up. It is time for the 19 guys. We need to see a play from Nolan Smith this coming week. We see one.
He had a sack tonight.
He did.
He's getting better.
But in a big game, and against Notre Dame too. He was the guy rushing in book on that.
And by the way, Jake Fromm is going to play not to your standard YouTube watchers. Okay. Again, it was balls cold out there tonight.
He still made some really nice throws.
Hell yeah, he
guys,
did.
But he did.
He
make
put
some
the
really
ball
nice
in the
throws.
basket for Cager a couple of times, and Pickens. So, all right.
Who's getting better each week, George
So
Pickens,
let's just consider. Just shit on Fromm because then he plays lights out.
I looked at his numbers, the final stats, and I couldn't believe they were.
It didn't.
Yeah, it did not seem that way.
No. But the criticism of the guy, it is temperature just keeps dropping.
37 now. I'm pretty sure it feels like 36 outside too.
I went with shorts.
That's stupid. That's stupid.
I went with shorts.
I went with jeans because I'm smart.
No, you're not smart. I put on 2 socks. You put on 1, and I think you're going to have your pinky toe lost by the morning. We're going to whip you by Athens Regional. It was cold, man. Rodrigo just missing 1. Rodrigo played pretty well.
Man, he was booming those kicks.
He had
How many were they?
He had 4 field goals, 1 from 20, 1 from 48, 1 from 47, 1 from 29.
48 and 47?
That's pretty damn.
It wasn't even close though. He boomed them through.
That ball felt like a effing rock, dude. It was not fun. I don't know. I mean, I think people want this team. Like, you know, you see the typical overreaction. You know, look at the way Alabama plays. Look at the way that LSU plays. You know, I guess you want to talk about Ohio State and Clemson. You know, Penn State, they were supposed to have a good defense. Just got beat up, man. I mean, like, nothing's changed for Penn State. They can still win the national championship. They lost to Minnesota. They got to beat Ohio State now, but they had to beat Ohio State anyway. And
I just think the hype for this offense in the offseason, and a lot of that we talked about a good bit. The best offensive line that we've seen from a Georgia team, maybe the best in the country. All the weapons. Jake Fromm being a junior, knows the playbook by hand, gets him in and out of plays. So I guess we expected too much, and the fans expected too much. But again, they're not trying to go out and score 40 or 50. They want to run the ball, time of possession, keep the defense fresh. And
just Kirby in the visor.
Yeah.
You're not getting any lingerie, fellas. It's just him in the visor. And like, I think that's the critical thing for people to remember is Rodrigo, if he plays well, he is the weapon that they will deploy because their style is not always going to be conducive to scoring touchdowns. And any points matter. So 3 points are better than 0. And they stack up.
I mean, he had 12 tonight.
Well, that game's very different in the third quarter if the score is 15 to, what would that be?
If he didn't kick any field goals in the first half, they would have been up 7-0.
Yeah.
And then
And everybody in a full-blown panic.
I mean, but Georgia controlled the game
Completely.
from the first snap, the 3 and out to start the game. Then they marched down the field and put it in the end zone. Another 3 and out. And
who's been the most explosive offense Georgia's played? Notre Dame? I mean, Notre Dame scores a shit pile of points.
Florida had some explosive plays early in the year, not against Georgia, but they had some explosive.
Scored 58 today, you said?
56.
How does that happen?
I think Georgia put up just 30 on them. But, I mean, we saw it. I think Vanderbilt was just done. They were gassed in that second half. It didn't look like they even wanted to be there.
But, I mean, is Alabama out for sure? I'm not ready to say that.
It depends on, again, the Penn States. And
I mean, I think LSU is now in almost no matter what. I think if they lose the conference championship game to Georgia or Florida, they will not be going. They will not miss.
If Alabama runs the table, healthy.
Well, they're not going to lose.
And
Alabama.
then they say that our only loss is to number 2 LSU by what 4 points, 6 points, whatever the final score was.
That they made it. That they made it competitive really mattered.
So yeah,
I just think you're going to. Well, I mean, I don't think anyone in the car thinks Clemson is going to lose. So you're kind of running out of spots.
But if Georgia beats LSU in the SEC title game, like you said, they're both in. So,
I think they would be both in. But would Alabama? I mean, does Alabama have a case over Oklahoma?
Well, Baylor's still undefeated.
Who is Alabama's best win?
Texas A&M.
Be Texas A&M, but probably Auburn.
Who is Clemson's best win?
Texas A&M.
We're seeing a lot of. We're seeing a lot of. Well, that's everyone's best win. Is
they were.
A&M
was ranked 12 when Clemson beat them. I think they were ranked like 22, 23.
They could be ranked whatever they were. Right. I mean, they weren't in the same universe. That's the only ranked
team that Clemson has beaten.
Played. Yeah. Well.
And they're not. They're not the number 12 team as we've seen.
It's not Clemson's fault. They can only play who they play. But for Georgia, the opportunity is, hey, you know, we're in the quarterfinals. Got to get there. Got to win next week. And if you win, I expect them to win. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but
I would think they'll win.
I would think they'll win, and like
anytime you can win over there is really impressive.
It's hard to win over there.
Yeah.
Mark Richt at times made it seem easy. He really played well against Auburn, but I don't know. I mean, tonight, just wrapping it, I think
they covered. Wasn't pretty, but
by a lot.
Another shutout.
Look, pay attention to everything on the screen here. We've got these Missouri playlists for all the Jake Fromm and the Kirby and the Leggy thoughts and all this stuff. So go check it out. Dawgpost.com, DAWGPOST. This is the entire crew. We're going to get our pizza.
2 pizzas, baby.
2 pizzas, which is kind of... And then that's it.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.